As we learn about single plate clutch mechanism, and single plate clutch mechanism, there is a single plate of clutch present there, so because of this the name is single plate clutch. Here now we see the basic parts of our this mechanism. The engine shaft is connected to the crankshaft, and this engine shaft rotates the flywheel. And here is the friction plate is assembled with the clutch plate. And here is a pressure plate. Here is a clutch spring applied forward pressure in our pressure plate, so they are engaged with the flywheel and rotates with each other. There is a clutch pedal, we see there is a fulcrum pin, bearing, clutch shaft is transmit the power to the gearbox. Now we will see the working of this mechanism. In this diagram, this single plate clutch is in the engaged position. In the engaged position, this clutch plate is engaged with the flywheel. When flywheel rotate, the clutch plate is also rotate, and all over mechanism is also rotate with each other. But when we have to change our gear, so we press the clutch pedal, and when we press the clutch pedal from the helping of bearing, this all mechanism go in the backward direction, and the pressure plate is also going in the backward direction, and it's applied the backward force on our clutch spring. So what happened next? This all goes in backward direction. The clutch plate is also going backward direction, and it's disengaged with this flywheel. So now only the flywheel is rotating, but our clutch plate and other mechanism is not rotating. So transmitting the power is also stopped from the clutch shaft to the gearbox. So
in multi-plate clutch, there are so many discs present over there for generate more torque to transmit. There is an input shaft connected with the upper engine, and input shaft is connected with the output shaft. And the input shaft is also connected with flywheel. When flywheel rotate, input shaft is also rotated. And there are clutch plate, and over clutch plate there is a friction lining over there, and in middle of we can see there is a separate plate is separate to other clutch plate. And here is our pressure plate. When the pressure applied on the pressure plate, these go in a forward direction. From this push the pressure plate, and the clutch plate are engaged with each other. And what happened at that time, when these engage, they are started rotating. But this is our diaphragm spring. This, when forward direction forces applied, this diaphragm spring go backward. Their two end parts are go in backward direction, so they are disengaged from clutch plates from each other. So this is all over.
Now I am explaining cone clutch. Cone clutch serves the same purpose as disc plate clutch. However, instead of mating two spinning discs, the cone clutch used to conical surface and transmit torque by friction. The cone clutch transfers higher torque than plate or disc clutch of the same size. Due to wedging action, the increased surface area cone clutch are generally now only used peripheral speed application. Although they were once common in automobile and other combustion engine transmission, they usually now confine to very specialist transmission used in racing, rallying, or in extreme off-road vehicle. Although they are common in power boats, this is because of clutch does not have to be pushed in all the way, and the gears will be changed quicker. Some cone clutch are used in synchronizer mechanism in manual transmission and some limited slip differential. Today I am going to explain centrifugal clutch. A centrifugal clutch is a clutch that used to centrifugal force to connect two concentric shafts with a driving shaft nested inside a driven shaft. It engages more at higher speed. Here is driving shaft and here driven shaft. The input of the clutch is connected to the engine crankshaft while the output may drive a shaft chain or belt. Here a cover plate and orbit as engine revolution per minute increase weighted arms in a clutch swing outwards and force the clutch to engage. The most common type have friction pad or shoes readily mounted that engage the inside of the rim of a housing. On the center shaft there are an assorted number of extension springs which connected to the clutch shoe. Here friction sliding shoe and the friction lining sprouted on internal friction lining sprouted on shoe while which connected to clutch shoe. When the central shaft spins fast enough the spring extend causing the clutch shoe to engage the friction face. It can be compared to a drum brake in reverse type can be found on most home-built cars, lawn and garden equipment, fuel powder, model cars, and low-power chainsaws. Another type used in racing cars has friction and clutch discs scat together like a motorcycle clutch. The weighted arm force these discs together and engage the clutch. When the engine reaches a certain speed, the clutch activates working somewhat like a continuously variable transmission. As the load increases, the speed drops, disengaging the clutch, letting the speed rise again and rearranging the clutch. It tuned properly the clutch while tend to keep the speed at or near the torque peak of the engine. This results in a fair bit of waste heat, but over the broad range of speed, it is much more useful than the direct drive in a many applications. Here, a centrifugal clutch are often used in mopeds, underbones, lawns, mowers, go-karts, chainsaws, mini bikes, and some paramotorbikes and boats too.